Section 2, Unit 1, Introduction to Safety. Introduction. Safety is the primary concern when working in any machining environment. Different machining operations require different safety precautions. Always stay alert and focused on the current task. General safety guidelines. No horseplay. Do not startle or distract workers. Avoid injury. Be aware of hazards. Never work with unfamiliar tools or material. Always stop machines before cleaning or making adjustments. Do not operate machinery under the influence of alcohol or medication. Know where the first aid kit is and what to do in the event of an emergency. OSHA, which is Occupational Health and Safety Administration, and NIOSH, which is National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, federal agencies relating to workplace safety. General clothing for machining environment. Wear appropriate clothing, long pants, short sleeve, close-fitting shirts, no hoods or drawstrings, hard, flat-soled work shoes with slip-resistant soles, secure long hair, avoid jewelry that can get caught in the machines, no gloves except for specific task. Some examples of appropriate footwear for machining environment. Different heights are available with either soft toes, safety toes, or metatarsal shields, which help to protect the entire foot from heavy objects. And then there's some examples of appropriate footwear. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, safety equipment worn to protect from potential dangers. Know what equipment you need for this situation. Common types of equipment include eye protection, hearing protection, respirators, gloves, and hard hats. Safety glasses and goggles come in many different styles. Note that some can be worn over ordinary glasses. Face shields do not take place of safety glasses, but are worn in addition to them when performing certain operations. Some examples of hearing protection. These are air purifying respirators used to use replaceable filters or cartridges that filter contaminants from the air. Different gloves are available for different uses. Note the different glints when handling chemicals. Always follow the chemical manufacturer's recommendation for the proper type of glove. Keeping the work environment clean to prevent dangerous situations. So avoid clutter. Clean and store tools properly. Store materials neatly and safely. Dispose of waste and clean up spills and debris. Some material in proper racks like these for safety. Don't stack it on the floor, workbenches, or machinery. Dispose of oil and solvent-soaked rags in safety cans like these to avoid spontaneous combustion. Oil and solvent spills can be absorbed with granular absorbents, then the absorbent can be swept up. Pads or socks can also be used to soak up spills. Signs and barriers preventing entry to danger area. Guards on machine tools around cutting areas, moving parts, and light beam triggers disable machines. Never operate machinery without all guards and covers properly placed. Taking care, lifting heavy items. Get help if needed. Beware of sharp, slippery, and awkward objects. Receive training before operating any lifting device. Use legs and keep back straight when lifting. So position your body overload, keep back as erect as possible, use leg muscles. Never use compressed air to clean up metal chips or chemicals. Use a brush. If air must be used, use a nozzle that limits pressure to 30 psi or less. Never use compressed air to clean a person's body. Lockout tagout prevents release of hazardous energy from machine during maintenance or repair. Tagout uses highly visible tag to secure the machine, and lockout more secure because it uses lock instead of as well as tags. A lock or tag or both can be placed through the machine's main power switch to prevent the machine from being powered. A lockout hasp allows several different people to lock or tag out a piece of equipment. This machine has been locked out by 2 different people. A tag-out device provides space for the person who has placed the tag to write specific details. The tag is then secured through the machine's power switch with a wire or plastic tie. Hazardous material, liquid, solid, or gas. OSHA Hazard Communication Standard, HCS, requires employers to inform workers about hazardous materials in the workplace, and it's called the right to understand. GHS label, globally harmonized system of classification and labeling of hazardous materials, GHS. NFPA is National Fire Protection Association. HMIS 3, Hazardous Material Identification System. And here's a sample of the GHS compliant label required by OSHA, Hazardous Communication Standard. So you got the product identifier at the top. Then you got a signal word, this one is danger. You got hazard statements and precautionary statements. And then you got supplier identification. The NFPA, explanation of the NFPA Hazardous Materials Safety and Risk Rating System, reprinted with permission from NFPA 704-2012, System for the Identification of the Hazardous Material and for Emergency Response, National Fire Protection Association. So, the red there at the top is flammability hazards, the blue is health hazards, the white is special hazards, and the red is instability hazards. So fire safety. Fire safety is important in any setting, and a machining environment is no different. The first goal in fire safety is prevention, and conditions where fire hazards exist will be reviewed throughout this text. Knowledge of the factors needed for a fire to burn will help in understanding how to extinguish fires. The fire triangle. All 3 sides must exist for a fire to burn. The job of a fire extinguisher is to remove one of these 3 elements. So you have to have oxygen, heat, and fuel to have a fire. Class A fire extinguishers. Class A fires are what OSHA defines as those involving ordinary combustibles such as paper, cloth, wood, rubber, and many plastics. Class B, OSHA defines fires in oils, gasoline, some paints, lacquers, grease, solvents, and most other flammable liquids as Class B fires. Class B fire extinguishers use carbon dioxide as an extinguishing media. Class C, OSHA defined Class C fires as electrical fires, such as in wiring, fuse boxes, energized electrical equipment, and computers. Class D, metal fires are defined as Class D fires by OSHA. And then you got multi-purpose extinguishers. CO2 extinguishers may be labeled as usable for both B and C fires. Some dry chemical extinguishers may be labeled for use of Class A, B, and C fires. Some shops maintain safety checklists and use them to perform daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly safety inspections. Different items are inspected at different intervals. Daily inspection items might include checking the machine guards and barriers are in working order, cleanliness of floors or proper storage of hazardous materials. Weekly inspections might include checking first aid supplies and ensuring that all hazardous materials are labeled appropriately. Monthly inspections could cover checking functionality of PPE such as respirators and fire extinguishers, or taking inventory of lockout tagout supplies.